Everybody, what's going on? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing great. How are you? How are you over there right next door to me? How
I
are you
know, right? Our
doing?
offices are right next to each other. We're kind of like the Obamas, just less
Yeah,
famous. And but you went to University of Chicago because
I sure did.
you actually met Michelle when you were at Chicago because she worked at Chicago, right? No, I know Barack did too, right?
Yeah, so Michelle Obama worked in what was called the Bursar building where you pay your money. She had her office in the basement. And there was a lady in my master's program that said, you got to meet this lady, Michelle Obama. She is Michelle and her husband Barack are the up and coming couple. So I said, what? I had
Really?
never heard of them before. Yeah, so we went down, we actually met her. She was really kind, very nice. She was very tall. And she said, if you ever need any help, you can reach out to me. And she gave me her business card. I had no
Very
idea.
cool.
And then her husband, Barack, he taught in the building right next door to our building because I was in social work and he taught in the law school. So he would just come and teach a class right there. That's amazing.
Wow. And
Little
look
did
at
I
where they are
know.
now. You know what's
Let me
funny?
tell you where they are right now. They are like killing it with this movie. I
Yeah,
love this
yeah.
movie,
And
by the
actually,
way.
before I get started, I want to ask everybody, give me a quick yes if you can hear us okay. Let us know the audio's coming through all right. Give us a quick yes and also hit that thumbs up button. And you're watching Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. And my wife, Dr. Alicia, and I, she has a PhD in social work. She's a full professor and also a licensed therapist. And I am a PhD in finance. So we like to talk about topics that relate to love and money. And today we are actually, though, talking about the Obamas. And the Obamas have actually gotten some backlash. They made this movie, y'all. I'm telling y'all, y'all got to see this movie. It's really good.
It
It's
is so
called it's
good.
it's called Leave the World Behind. Leave the World Behind. And we found it by accident on Netflix, but really, are there any accidents, right? Everything's a conspiracy. So Netflix must have known how good the movie was, so they marketed it to us, and we were sitting there doing our Netflix and chill, where I'm looking to cop a squeeze and get close to my
We
wife.
were snuggling. We were straight up that we was Netflix and chill on the couch.
Yeah,
We were
and this movie,
snuggling up on the
this
couch.
yeah, this movie comes on, and we're just like, let's see what this movie's all about. And let me tell you, when I tell you, Miguel Jackson, yes, that is my wife. When I tell you that this movie, man, woo, good job,
Yeah, I could
good
tell
job.
you were kind of dozing off a little bit, but then it got real intense, and you like, wait, let me sit up and pay attention to this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was great, and it turns out though that they that there's been some backlash. I'm gonna read here this article from Newsweek. Hit the thumbs up button, everybody, as I pull this up. All right, so it says here in Newsweek that former President Barack Obama is facing backlash on Monday over a film on which he was a consultant, which warns about white people. After concluding his presidency in 2017, Obama has written a best-selling memoir and signed a deal with Netflix to produce films and television series. The former president has also created Higher Ground, a production company co-led by his wife, former First Lady Michelle Obama, in which the projects were set to touch on issues of race and class, democracy, and civil rights. The company's first production, American Factory, debuted in 2019 and centered on an abandoned General Motors plant that was reopened in Ohio by a Chinese billionaire. The film took home an Oscar for Best Documentary Feature. I missed that film. I probably won't be seeing that one now, to
What
be
it no,
honest.
what's the name of it? We gotta check it out now because this one movie is amazing.
Well,
So we
it's called
gotta now
American
see all the
Factory.
other ones.
Well, let's keep it
I
100.
want to watch it. I would like to
Like
watch it because I would
you know
like to
what?
watch it.
I like I you know what, I like Michelle and Barack, but there's like areas where we overlap, areas we don't, right? Much respect. I'm out of Chicago. I lived a block away from Barack, right? I watched his whole presidency. Like I lived less than 1.5 blocks from this man during the height of his presidency. I saw the whole motorcade coming down the street. I had to move my car because they make you clear every street all the way out to O'Hare Airport, which by the way was very far from the house. Every time he came home, I have much respect for what he did. But honestly, Farrakhan lived around the corner, and I actually went to see Farrakhan several times. I didn't have much interest in talking to Barack, not because I didn't like him, but because I understood the game he had to play. You know, he had to play that old white people game, and I think he knows it's a white people game. I think Michelle knows it's a white people game, and I just don't want to play it. And I said, well, good luck, man. But so I have respect for him, but there are areas where I think a lot of black people just didn't know what to make of this guy. What do you think?
I was going to say that American Factory. I'm very interested in that film because I'm from Gary, Indiana, and that's the big epicenter of American Factory. So that is of interest to me because
True that.
an entire economy in my hometown was basically obliterated because of
Mm.
the factories leaving. And I mean, we were the best of the best at one point, and because of the factories and all of that. So losing all of our jobs and economic downturn, I'm very interested to see if he and Michelle was involved in that film. I would definitely want to take a look at it.
Well, you know what? I think that you're right about that. I think you have a point there, right? So here's what. So basically, let me read more of this article, and then we can kind of talk about that. I'd like to get your thoughts on it because I know you have a client in a minute. More recently, Obama served as a consultant on Sam Esmail's latest film, "Leave the World Behind," based on Ruman Alam's novel of the same name. The film, which was released on Netflix Friday, follows two families forced to work together amid a nationwide blackout. As the threat grows, both families must decide how best to survive the potential crisis, all while grappling with their places in the collapsing world. The former president and first lady signed on to produce the film last year, and as part of the deal, Obama was able to share his perspective on the events that unfolded on the screen. According to Vanity Fair, while writing the script, Esmail consulted Obama, hoping that his perspective would ground the story and make it more realistic. Esmail added that Obama thought the script was fairly close to how a crisis would actually pan out in the real world. Quote, he had a lot of notes about the characters and the empathy we would have for them. I have to say he's a big movie lover, and he wasn't just giving notes about things that were from his background. He was giving notes as a fan of the book, and he wanted to see a really good film. And so let's see here. Since the film was released, a lot of people have gone to Twitter to basically share their perspective. The scene in question shows a black couple, but they weren't a couple, right? Well, I thought they were. It was a father and daughter lying in bed as the lines. I'm asking you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people. So basically, they said that Netflix. Here's a quote from Twitter. I'm gonna let you kind of give your perspective on this, babe. They said Netflix film called "Leave the World Behind," produced by the Obamas, includes a scene demonizing white people. White people are the only group you're allowed and celebrated to be racist toward, and it will be put into movies by the most influential people. So, what do you think about that?
No, that was spot on because my biggest concern with movies is that writers don't know what black people say to each other when other white people aren't around. And that's always been my critique. When you see a movie and there's nothing but black people in the room, I'm like, that's not what we talk about. That's not real. But when she made that statement, I don't trust white people. We can't be doling out trust to white people. Like, I was like, yeah, that is exactly what I say when white folks ain't around. So I thought it was very realistic. One thing that I wanted to say before I have to leave is that his name, what is his name? Can you say his name? Maserata Ali. What's
I
his
don't have
name?
his first name, but I saw Esmail.
No,
Why?
the guy who played the father. What was his name? Starts with an M. His last name is
Oh,
Ali.
I forgot the brother's name.
Oh
He's a
my
good actor.
gosh. Someone tells it. That's the reason why I wanted to watch the movie in the first place, because I really like his movies. But I thought it was interesting. His name was GH. And I kept saying,
Oh
Boyce, what
yeah,
was
that's
his name?
right.
GH. And I was like, wait, his name is George. I said, wow, I wonder if somehow that his name was George, like George H. Bush. And I thought it was really interesting because it was this house. And I think the house represents the White House. So here you have, and I think that too, the two white couple on some level, they represent, I couldn't remember, probably maybe George Bush and his, yeah, maybe it was a twist. Maybe GH represented George Bush and his wife, in a sense, or their family, because there's some people who's in the house. It's very unclear who the house actually belongs to. So it's almost like you're renting this house out. One family lives there, the other family exits, another family comes in. I'm talking symbolically that perhaps this is a symbolic representation of what happens in the White House. And then maybe it's in some way a conversation between Michelle and Barack Obama, and on some level, George and George Bush, because there were some conversations between GH and the lady who played, what was her name? I can't remember. I should write down everybody's name before I start, but
Well,
I don't know. This is
there was Julia Roberts. I think the other
Julia
guy was Ethan
Roberts'
Hawke.
character. Yeah. So yeah,
Right.
Steve Hawking. Yeah. So Julia Roberts' character and GH, the black guy in the movie, they had a connection, and it made me wonder, on some level, if that was a way for people changing in the White House, the types of conversations they have with each other, because he really kind of revealed a lot. He was like, I saw some things that was really bizarre, and that's what made me want to come back, because I knew that something really strange was happening and that we were in trouble. So to me, if
Right.
anybody who wants to see the film, who hasn't seen the film, pay very close attention, because they talk about shadow government, they talk about conspiracy theories, all of that is really divulged in that conversation between those two. So that was sort of my little breakdown of the movie as I was watching it. And I'm sure if I saw it again, there would be more stuff that would be pretty apparent to me.
Well, the movie's called "Leave the World Behind." It's on Netflix, and it was very, very good. And by the way, I know my wife has clients in a couple minutes, and so
Yeah.
before we go, I would like to ask everybody, if you could, you please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget this podcast is on Spotify. We don't have as many followers as the Obamas, but my wife does have that lineage at University of Chicago. Her father and grandfather went there, so and there's a connection. And I lived on Brock Street for a while, so we're kind of like the discount Obamas, except we're a little blacker, I guess. We can be black in public, and we ain't got to be scared of that. But also, the other piece here too is that Alicia's website is coachingwithdralicia.com. She's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. And if you'd like to get some free material from Dr. Alicia, just text the word wellness to 31996. Text wellness to 31996. We have a big belief that undiagnosed, untreated trauma is one of the big problems in our community that affects our economics, it affects our families, it affects our mental health. So if you'd like some free support and information on these in these areas, just text the word wellness to 31996. All right, so babe, if you did you have one more thing you want to say before you bounce out? I personally thought that the Obamas, I thought they did a great job with this movie. I really think that they are secretly these aspiring film moguls. Like I feel like they, and not only are they just super crafty, in terms of making great movies and making tons of money, but that movie was heavy. That wasn't a BS movie. Like that was a movie where you're like, holy crap, this came out of the brain of a man who has access to inside information about how the government runs. So part of the movie scared the shit out of me. I mean, what do you think?
I haven't been, it stayed, like sometimes I'll watch a movie and then I'll forget about it, but that movie has stayed with me. Did I not have a conversation with you, Boyce, about, okay, we need to have a safe room in the house?
Yeah.
We need to try to find out, we need to have like what is it called, a bomb shelter or something, so that we can have some supplies. We need like some rifles or something. It really got me thinking about the potential chaos that can happen. And one of the lines that spooked me the most was when GH said, or George H said, there's nobody in control of this anymore. Like we've totally lost control of everything. And, that seems pretty accurate. If you look at some of the current news event, you're thinking, who's in control here? Donald Trump was president for 4 years. Like if that can tell us anything, one thing that can tell us is that I don't think Donald Trump was ever anointed to be president. Like no one ever thought he would actually get in office and do some of the very radical things that he's done. So that can lead you to think that there's nobody really in control anymore. And so that was pretty frightening. It was almost like, God help you, what's going to happen and what might happen down the line. I think that whenever a former president gets involved with anything based on what they see, because presidents see quite a bit and they can't actually directly say what they see when they're in office, but they could symbolically put it into a movie like Michelle and Barack Obama did. So yeah, that was the one thing I wanted to say. And yeah, I mean, I don't know why white people would be upset with that sort of dialogue, because like, how could they not think that they are innocent in how they treat people who don't look like them, historically and even currently in day-to-day sort of examples that Black people talk about all the time, so it's amazing to me that people would be surprised at how bold Barack Obama and Michelle Obama have been recently. They don't need to hide. They ain't running. They can't run for president. I don't know if Michelle can run. She acts like she's running for president because she's killing it. I gotta tell you, I don't dislike the Obamas. I don't dislike them. And I think Michelle is amazing. Some of the work that she's done and the things that she's done has been, I think, really helpful.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here
Yeah.
dislikes the Obamas. I think that there is a legitimate critique in terms of,
Yeah.
what happened during the presidency, what should have happened, and stuff like that. But in terms of carrying themselves in the best way possible, they really carry themselves with a type of dignity and honor that has been lost in the White House. Trump and Biden don't maintain that tradition. So I agree with you 100%. Now I know you got a meeting at 6, so you got to get out of here,
Yeah,
don't you?
I gotta go.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody. Check out that
All right.
movie and don't let us. Hopefully, we didn't give too
Well, by
many
the way, wait, let me
spoilers
tell everybody,
away.
we're going to continue the conversation after Dr. Alicia heads out. But go ahead, babe. I
Yeah.
didn't want
Okay.
anybody
Yeah.
to like head out.
Don't give too many spoilers away, boys, because it's really intriguing. But
Well, you already
you
told
can
them
have
about
to.
the whole movie. You
I
already
know I did. I
you
kind of
said with me
spoiled
everything.
it,
I
but
wasn't
there's
gonna
a
talk
lot
about all that.
more. There's a lot more in there. There's a lot more symbolism in that movie. And I think it'd be useful to watch to see it more than once because there's just a lot going on at once. And once your mind gets behind, everything, you will be trying to build a safe house in your basement.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks, babe, for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. And by the way, everybody, Dr. Alicia, she has some books actually. If you go to drboycebooks.com, her books are listed on my platform. If you want to go take a look, she has books on financial anxiety, basically how to secure and strengthen your marriage, stuff like that. So feel free to go to drboycebooks.com, and also at Dr. Boyce Books. If you search for the word calendar in the little search box at the top, the 2024 Black Wealth calendars are available, so you can put financial tips and information on your refrigerator that will heighten your financial literacy with your family. So thanks a lot, babe. I appreciate it, and I'll let you go ahead and
Okay.
get to your meeting. You can feel
That's
free
it.
to pop back in. All right,
All
see you
right.
later. Okay, so here let's talk about this movie, right? So we were talking about this new movie called Leave the World Behind that stars it looks like I'm thinking that's Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts, and I don't know who the young lady is, the black woman that's in the movie. She's the kind of a new face in this brother here. Put his name in the chat because I don't have this brother's name in front of me, but he's a great actor and the movie was really good. It was on Netflix. I was really impressed that the Obamas made this movie. It felt 100% real, and what it really does is it speaks a lot to disaster preparedness, and I really think that as black people, I think it's important for us to think about that. I think it's important to kind of sort of figure out like what is the plan. What is the plan if there is no internet? What is the plan if there are no medical services? What is the plan if you don't have jobs and all the things that we come to depend on? What if we had no electricity? Stuff like that. And I really think that it's worth thinking about, right? I think it's important to kind of sort of say to ourselves, okay, so what would we do? And I know that in the Black Business School, we've been talking a lot about disaster preparedness. I know that I ordered a bunch of meals ready to eat and a generator for our house. But really, honestly, after seeing this movie, I kid you not, it is so good that it'll make you say, okay, we need to do a little bit more. We need to really plan and be ready. Because if the former president makes a movie like this, it really says that he's seen some things. It says that when they told him make it realistic, and you watch the movie, you're like, holy crap, he made this realistic. You could really see this kind of playing out. And I think that his whole argument and narrative in the film is that basically what would destabilize the country is all of the infighting going on in the United States, right? Let me know, give me a yes or no if you've noticed how divided the country's become, how we've, basically the Democrats and Republicans are fighting like cats and dogs to the point where they want to take each other out. And both sides are responsible, in my opinion. It's not just the Republicans and the whole January 6th nonsense, but some of the stuff the Democrats have been doing has been pretty horrific, pretty just crazy. I don't agree with the idea of trying to incarcerate your political enemies. I don't like the whole Trump thing at all. I don't like the fact that they want to censor their political enemies. I don't like that either. I don't like the fact that they want to open up the borders and let anybody and their mama come in, including terrorists. Okay. Mahala Harold is Ruth. Okay, thank you. All praise to Yah. I appreciate you sharing that name. And it's kind of a mess. And so for him to make this movie right now is really interesting. and I highly encourage you to see it. And also, I was, I think I think that it's a bit of an overreaction to get upset about that one line about white people. There was literally my Mahershala Ali is GH. Okay, Mahershala Ali. I probably mispronounced it. Forgive me for that. But anyway, I will say that it wasn't like he got super radical with the movie. I think that most of us understand that, yeah, it's hard to trust white people. I mean, as black people, you want to trust. We want to trust everybody. But look at the history. Look at how many times we've been screwed over. Look at how many times we've been lied to. It doesn't mean I hate anybody, but I know that when I created the Black Business School, I said I don't really want any money from people outside the community. In fact, if you want to really look at how money, just as one variable, can be used to manipulate, control, and attack people. Look at what's happening right now at major universities that have students that are speaking up against what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians. If you look at the actual numbers, I think the death toll on the Israeli side is maybe about 1,600 people, which is terrible. But then on the Palestinian side, it's like 17,000. There's nothing fair about that. There's nothing balanced about that. A lot of these people are women and children, and so there are people who are exercising their right to protest, and they're doing it on college campuses. Well, Bill Ackerman and some other influential people that have lots of money are using their money to force the resignations of presidents at major universities. Claudine Gay, the black woman at Harvard, who has a checkered history. I'm not a big fan of Claudine Gay, to be honest with you, but they're trying to pressure her to resign. I don't think that she should. The president of Penn did resign. I think MIT stood behind its president, but I wonder how long they're going to do that. And so what you're seeing is kind of this all-out assault where people are labeling any disagreement with Israeli policies as anti-Semitism, or any belief that we shouldn't be funding these mass killings as anti-Semitic. And it's like, no, that's not what's going on, man. This is about fairness. And so ultimately, I think that when you're talking about economic power, you're talking about people sort of using money to pursue their agenda. There are different groups that do that, and I think that people who are not black have used money to pursue their agenda amongst black people and to oppress black people. So and not only do they oppress black people, but they even oppress each other, right? So anyway, that's pretty much it. That was what I wanted to talk about really quick. And by the way, Dr. Alicia's website, she's a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. If you'd like to learn more about what she does, she sees individuals, couples, families, groups, things like that. Feel free to go to coachingwithdralicia.com. And also, if you'd like to get some free stuff from Dr. Alicia, you can text wellness to 31996, and Dr. Alicia can send you some free stuff that'll help you to deal with your trauma, deal with your anxiety, deal with your depression, deal with any mental health issues, relationship issues, things like that. She's extremely good at what she does. She helped us to create the first ever Black financial therapy department in the Black Business School. And that's where we basically work on the psychological barriers that prevent the building of Black wealth. And we work with great therapists to get this done. We did a money mindset event, actually yesterday in the Black Business School. And it was really good. You'd be amazed at what you can learn by looking into the techniques that are used commonly in therapy. And I think it's really important. The more I see some of the chaos and nonsense and sheer just pain that's sort of being thrust around in our community, the more I realize therapy is really one of the solutions that I highly recommend. Okay, so anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. And again, if you want to get the 2024 Black Wealth Calendar or any of my books, financial flashcards for kids, things like that for Christmas, just go to drboycebooks.com. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care now. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees. 1010, 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.